everybody, back again with another video. Hope you're doing well. Hope your life's going well. Hope this week has gone well for you, and hope that today has gone well for you. Today is Friday, March the 14th, 2025. It's about 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I hope that you're all having a wonderful, wonderful Friday. I hope that it's been a fun and non-stressful Friday for you, and I hope that you have something fun planned for the weekend, because the weekend is coming up. Unless you work, of course, then your weekend is during the weekdays, which is arguably better. Sometimes I wish I had weekdays off. But anyway, I want to talk about, my high school edumacation, right? And the reason I call it that is because I really don't feel as though I got a whole lot out of high school, right? Like, I know it's going to sound crazy when I say this, but sometimes I think that if I would have just dropped out of high school when I was 15 or 16 years old, I would be in the same position that I am right now, but with more money, because I would have just been working, you know. You see, the thing about high school nowadays is, I know some people might say it's a stretch to say this, but it can kind of be seen as basically daycare for teenagers, essentially, because you got your parents working all day, and before they go to work they drop you off at school, and then unless you ride the bus, you go to the bus stop, go to school, and then you come home. Then your parents come home at 5, 6, 7 in the evening. And I just think about the stuff that I learned in high school, and most of that stuff was it was a waste of time. I'll be honest with you. There was just no need to learn a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not ever gonna use in life. A bunch of trivia, a bunch of stuff that really doesn't matter at the end of the day, unless I was actually going into that field of study. And I guess maybe some people can make the argument that, well, they, introduce you to different, different topics that you can go further in with your studies. But, just overall, it just isn't, it's most of it, I'll give you an example, right? During I would say reading class, right? They would have you read a whole fictional book, and then they'll have you take a test over the book or whatever, and it's if you really think about it, they're kind of just teaching you memorization, right? Because you couldn't look at the book for the answers to the questions. It was just you just read the book, you take a test over it, and then in less than a week you basically forgotten everything that you I guess you can say learned from the book. And that's another thing. I don't like how the way that you learn is pretty much just memorization. there's other ways of learning outside of memorization, and a lot of what you learn, especially in high school, is memorization. And the people who are the best at memorizing and regurgitating, uh, they do the best in school, right? But can you really say you learned it? I don't know if one can truly say that, right? Um, I don't remember much of anything that I learned in high school. I do remember one thing though. I remember how much they tried to convince people that it's a good idea to take out tens of thousands of dollars in student loans. I do remember when they put us all in this room and they showed us this like PowerPoint or whatever about how people who went to college made like way more money in their lifetime than people who didn't go to college, right? But I feel as though if they would have compared it strictly against people who actually had skilled trades, the numbers would have been a lot closer, because I think that with that comparison, it gets skewed because there's a lot of people that they don't go to college, but they don't learn like a skill or anything, and so that can kind of skew the numbers. But I guarantee you, if you compare that with people that learn some sort of skill, electrician, plumber, car mechanic, welder, carpenter, truck driver, some sort of skill, right? The numbers would have been closer. I remember them doing that, trying to convince people to go to college and, get student loans and stuff, because apparently that's like the only path that you can go down. And a lot of people, they receive this information and then they go out and get a 50, 60, 70, $80,000 student loan to go to college and get a degree, and then realize that the degree isn't worth anything either. So that I do remember. But as far as the learning part, not much of anything, because it was nothing but memorization. It was nothing but regurgitation. It really didn't have any worthwhile or impact, in my life. And so, I mean, there's a few things that you learn, of course. Reading, basic reading, writing, math. You learn those things. But I mean, let's be honest, all these super, super complicated math classes and equations and stuff, I mean, they got computers to do all that stuff anyway. Let's be honest. Like, you're not doing all that stuff by hand day to day. Like, that's what they build computers for, okay? And I guess the argument would be, well, you need to understand, like, how the process works. Yeah, but, yeah. I just think they overcomplicate it. If you can build a computer to actually do it, then, do you really need to know how to do all that? Maybe if you are actually going into, a math related study, STEM, okay, yeah, that stuff is important. But if you're not, you have no interest in that, and you have no interest in that, then, what's the point? What is really the point, right? I just sometimes think about it. I'm like, do I feel like I'm an overall positive on society because I have a high school education or edumacation. Not really. I just think that I would be in the same position. I mean, I'm a truck driver. Okay, I'm a truck driver. I mean, do you really need, to take all these different classes and, schooling and all that to be a truck driver? I would say no, you don't, right? You do need to know basic math. You need to know how to read. You need to know how to write. You need to know how to understand instructions. So yeah, there's things there, right? But it's just at a certain point, it's like, okay, do I really need to take all these different classes? And the answer is no, because I don't remember much of anything from any of those classes, right? And it's interesting too. They kind of do this thing in college as well, where you'll pick a degree that you want to pursue, and then like the first 2 years of classes are just a bunch of classes that have nothing to do with your degree. And me personally, I think that's nothing more than a money grab. And they'll try to say, well, we want to make you we want you to learn overall, make you more of a, I guess you call it, well-rounded individual, which is nonsense, because there's plenty of programs that where you can actually specialize in something at a community college. And in community college, they usually don't make you take all these different pointless classes that you really don't need like that, right? You go through a trade program at a community college. Okay, all your classes are going to actually have something to do with what you're actually pursuing as a degree or certification. They're not going to make you take all these nonsense, pointless classes, right? And then try to convince you that, oh, you need these classes, when you don't need the classes to be successful in that career field. And college is mainly just to me, it's kind of a way to weed people out as well. There's a limited number of jobs out here, and many people, coming out of college with a degree. So, a lot of these jobs that really anybody can do, right? They're going to tell you, oh, you need a college degree to do this job. No, you don't. I guarantee you can take somebody with a high school education, put them in that job, and they'll be just as good as somebody with a degree, right? So it's kind of a way to weed people out. Especially as jobs get more and more scarce, with automation and outsourcing, and the one thing I think about too is there's not enough jobs out here for every single like college graduate as well. There's not enough, okay? And so it's very, very unfortunate that in high school they teach you that college is the only way to be successful in life, and they know that's just not true. It was interesting, when I was in high school, they never talked much of anything about trades. I never actually heard anybody talk about, um, you know, being a truck driver as a good career, right? You know, after getting done with high school, right? As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if I was to tell somebody back in those days that I wanted to be a truck driver, they'd tell me that, they try to convince me that there's something wrong with me, that I need to just go to college and, you know, you know, get an education and, just uh, go that route instead of trying to, go a different path. But sometimes the different path is the best path for many people. Look, there's a lot of people that are probably better off. Like, there's a lot of people that they're not really like into school like that, but because we have this one model of learning, which is basically memorizing and regurgitation, it is basically you have to go through this one way of learning, even though not everybody is good at learning that way, right? Some people learn different ways, right? And so in this, education system, public education system, you're told that if you're not good at learning in this way, regurgitating, then, there's something wrong with you because now you have bad grades, right? And, there's plenty of people out here that didn't really do good in high school that are actually very, very successful. And they tell you, oh, if you don't do good in high school, then you're going to be a failure in life, and they try to scare you and all that. That's really not the case. As long as you have ambition to actually do something productive in life, being good, especially in high school, is not as big of a deal as you think. And I had like a B average in high school, right? So I'm not saying is that some person that like was failing high school or had like a C average or D average in high school. I had a B average in high school. I think my GPA was like a 3.3 or 3.4. So I wasn't no top student or anything, but I did fairly decent. And even me, I'm saying that. What was it all for? Again, I could have dropped out of high school and been fine and actually had more money than what I do now because I spent so much time in school, right? And I went to college as well. That's a whole nother video. But if I would have just went straight into working, it would have been a whole lot better. And I'm pretty sure this is true for a lot of people. I think that schools should. Well, see, I think that if we want to make high school like worthwhile, we need to bring trades back: auto mechanic, electrician, plumbing, right? Carpentry, right? Welding. All these things should be in high school, so that people in high school are seeing more options outside of college, because college isn't for everybody. But they promote college like everybody should go to college, and that's the biggest problem, right? Tell people there's more career paths than a college degree. Not everybody wants a college degree, but then they try to convince people that that's what you need to be successful, and that if you don't fit into this mold of, high school, college, that mold of if you don't fit into that, then there's something wrong with you. And that's just not the case. So that's just kind of my opinion on it. Is there something I'm missing? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I do thank you all for watching. I hope that you're relaxed, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.